It's a lovely morning here at Warren Greatrex's yard in Lambourne, and we're here for National Racehorse Week. And I'm joined alongside me by Jamie Osborne and Charlotte Illingworth to discuss all things retraining the racehorse. Now, you have something in common, you two, and that is the wonderful toast. I'm not talking about toast that you eat, but Toast of New York, Jamie, that you used to train.
Yeah, and it's great now that he's got a second life with Lottie. It's been a long old journey with him, from him arriving with us in 2012 as a rather plain looking yearling. He was a very slow looking 2-year-old in the spring of his career, of his 2-year-old year. He emerged through that year and ended up winning a novice, a maiden and a novice, by long distances at Wolverhampton, and then we went on an ambitious plan to take him to Dubai for the UAE Derby, which thankfully he won. And he ended that season getting beaten a nostril in probably the best dirt race in the world, in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
When did you realise that he was going to be something quite special?
We had an inkling in the second half of in 2013. Prior to that, he'd looked decidedly slow and plain. It was a massive surprise to us. It was one of those beautiful things that very occasionally emerges when a horse doesn't show you an awful lot and then suddenly there's a change.
Absolutely blossoms. Now, tell us about this relationship, Lottie, because how did you come about knowing about Toast? Because he's now in your life.
My other half, Jimmy McCarthy, is Jamie's assistant, and he was like my third child and ended up...
Jamie was, or?
Toast or Jimmy?
Toast. I never saw Jimmy because he was flying around the world with Jamie and Toast. So, yeah, that's how I got Toast.
What's he been like? You've had him for a couple of years now. When you first got him home, how do you even begin?
We put him out with my little Section A lead rein pony and Shetland, and just went from there, and he just chilled out. And it was a trial and error because they're both little girls, and it went well.
It's so lovely that these horses get a second life. Jamie, just how important is it that we do make sure that these horses have another life because they're so versatile?
Yeah, I think it's every trainer and owner's duty really to make sure that if you see a horse through to the end of its career, we have a duty to make sure that they have a second life. They're often finished, especially flat racing, they're finished, they're not old horses. And, you know, this was a horse who had a little series of injuries. The second injury really meant that he probably wasn't ever going to race again, but it didn't mean that he couldn't go and do something decent in his life afterwards. And, you know, thankfully Lottie and Jimmy, I mean, Jimmy was very close to this horse. He went all around the world with him. I mean, in his 3-year-old career, he only ran 4 times. He went to Dubai, he then went to New York, he then went to Del Mar, San Diego, and then LA to Santa Anita.
He's a better travelled horse than most people.
And he came back each time. So he trained from here in Lambourne, but went out to run in those races. So Jimmy was on the road with him a lot. So, you know, they were joined at the hip, certainly through that year. So, you know, one of the nice things now is that Jimmy's family are still very much involved with Toast, and I can rest easy that the horse who did more for us than any horse I've ever trained has got a meaningful, worthy, enjoyable life going forward, and is beautifully looked after by Lottie.
Oh, Jamie, you're soppy, really, aren't you? Lottie, what's he actually doing now? Now you've got him home, it's been a couple of years. What are your plans with him?
We've been doing a bit of dressage, we've done some showing, we've got him jumping, just a bit of everything. We might try some workers, some ROR stuff, just everything. It doesn't really need to do anything in life because he's done
it all. He's a wonderful horse, and you know, in terms of retraining, it's not just about the riding, it's about filling them out, it's about giving them that respite away from racing. So how do you go about that in terms of nutrition as well?
We got him back, I let him down. He'd been let down with Jamie for a bit here, and I let him down more. And obviously his diet changed because he was on high protein here. So I switched him onto a low starch, low sugar, just to start basic, and then you know whether you can up it, down it. I introduced him to the Gastroform because obviously new life, new balance, everything. Lisa knew his gut was fine, taking that. He been having the injuries and everything and being a racehorse. I also put him on a joint supplement just to support his joints and feed them. And obviously thoroughbreds don't have great feet. So with his diet change, I had quite a few issues. Put him on pro feet and kept him on all that, and he doesn't really get overly fed, and you can see how well he looks.
He does look so well, and that sounds quite complicated, but actually it's not. And for those watching that might want to have an ex-racehorse and retrain them, what advice would you give them?
Start slowly, do not rush them, take your time and just let them get to know you and you get to know them, and don't force them, just go slow. And that's what I've done with Toast.
Sounds like you've got the most wonderful home for him. Jamie, how many other horses are you going to send to Lottie and Jimmy?
Well, I doubt I'll have one as good that can go there, but yeah, there's always a few coming out the other end that need good homes.
Do you check on him quite a lot?
I keep abreast of what he's up to. I know he's in safe hands, and obviously seeing him here today, he looks magnificent, doesn't he? You almost look at him now and question whether he's a thoroughbred. And there's a horse who was once the 4th highest rated 3-year-old in the world, and he doesn't look like a racehorse now.
No, he doesn't. I was really surprised, because he does just look, I hate to say it, but like a normal horse again, and that's down to you and Jimmy totally.
Yeah, and what you feed them, what you put into them, and he still looks athletic. He's still got a presence.
And he was a great jumper as well.
Yeah, we've taken that slowly, but yeah.
So in terms of what the ROR do, they're a fantastic organisation. How great is it for ex-racehorses coming into a new world to have that?
Absolutely fantastic, because they cover all spheres. They do the dressage, they do everything. They've got all the training events. You can ring them up at any time. They're all up and down the country, all over, and they're very, very helpful and very supportive.
Well, Lottie, it sounds like he's got the most wonderful life with you and Jimmy. And Jamie, you gave him that life as well. But for anyone that has got a new ex-racehorse at home and wants to retrain them, where can they get some more information?
For the nutrition side, NAF have a nutritional helpline, and you can give them a call. There's a nutritionist, and we have vets on the other side of the line.
There really is so much help out there for anyone that wants to retrain a racehorse. They're so versatile, and they really are lovely horses. And as you can see here, a perfect success story with a horse that was such a brilliant racehorse and now having a wonderful new life with Lottie and Jimmy.